It started with the sound of boots striking gravel, sharp, steady, and full of rhythm. The morning sun was pale, the air cold enough to bite, and every recruit stood in perfect formation, eyes front, shoulders square. Every recruit except one, Cadet Eva Grant. She'd been out of rhythm again, just half a beat off, but that was all it took. Sergeant Cooper's voice cracked through the air like a whip. "Grant! Out of line again! You're done!" Out. The world seemed to stop. The others didn't dare move a muscle. Eva felt every eye on her as her throat tightened. "Sir, I can fix it." "Save it," Cooper barked. "You're out of formation. Get off my field." A few muffled laughs followed her as she turned, her boots heavy against the dirt. She could feel the humiliation burning up her neck. 4 months of training, endless drills, and this was how it ended. Kicked out because of one off step. But what no one knew, not even Sergeant Cooper, was that Eva Grant hadn't joined for the glory or the medals. She joined for answers. Her brother, Captain Ryan Grant, had gone missing during a classified mission 6 months ago. The official report said lost in action, but Eva had seen the last message he sent. "They're not who they say they are. Don't trust command." She couldn't let it go. Every drill, every sleepless night, every bruise was fueled by that message. She had to get close enough to learn what happened. Now she was being thrown out before she'd even started. Eva stood by the barracks fence, watching the formation continue without her. Her stomach turned when she saw the general's flag fluttering near the distant command post. General Alcott, the man who'd led her brother's final mission. She'd never met him, but she'd memorized his face from every photo. Suddenly, the whir of blades cut through the air. Heads tilted up. A helicopter was approaching from the horizon, its rotors slicing through the stillness. Even Sergeant Cooper looked surprised. They never had choppers during morning drills. The helicopter circled once before descending toward the base yard, wind kicking up dust and grit. The formation broke as officers shouted for everyone to stand back. Eva squinted against the blowing sand as the aircraft touched down and a tall figure stepped out. Broad shoulders, silver hair, and a uniform lined with stars. General Alcott. The man she'd only seen in reports was now just 50 feet away. Every soldier straightened, saluting as the general strode forward with a stride that screamed authority. His eyes swept the field, sharp and searching. "Where is Cadet Eva Grant?" he called out, his voice cutting through the fading rotor noise. The name hung in the air like a gunshot. Sergeant Cooper blinked, thrown off. "Sir." She was dismissed from formation. Alcott's expression didn't shift. "Bring her to me." Eva froze. The recruits turned to look at her, whispering. Her pulse spiked. The general was asking for her. Why? She'd never even met the man. "Move, Grant," Cooper hissed, suddenly all nerves. "You heard the general?" Eva's legs felt like lead as she stepped forward, dust swirling around her boots. The wind whipped her short hair into her eyes as she reached the general and saluted. "Cadet Eva Grant, sir." He studied her in silence for several seconds, his eyes cold but assessing. "You're Ryan Grant's sister." Her heart skipped. "Yes, sir. I knew your brother," Alcott said. "He was one of the best. You have his eyes." Eva swallowed. "Thank you, sir." He turned to Cooper. "Dismiss the company. I'll take Cadet Grant from here." And just like that, the entire formation was dissolved. Cooper's jaw clenched as he barked. Company dismissed. As the others dispersed, Eva followed Alcott toward the helicopter, her mind racing. Why would a general land in person just to ask for her? Once inside, the doors shut with a heavy clang, and the noise faded to a low hum. Alcott sat across from her, expression unreadable. "You want to know what happened to your brother?" Her breath caught. "Sir, don't pretend," he said flatly. You think I don't know why you joined this program? You've been flagged on every watch list since the day you applied. Eva's stomach turned cold. Then why let me in? Because, he said, leaning back, you're not the only one looking for answers. The words hit her harder than the wind outside. He pulled a file from his jacket and tossed it onto the seat beside her. Your brother's last transmission was intercepted. The part you saw was only half of it. He was investigating something he shouldn't have found. Eva stared at the folder but didn't reach for it yet. What was he investigating? Alcott's eyes narrowed. A breach in our own command. Someone within headquarters leaked mission coordinates to hostile groups.
Ryan was close to uncovering who. That's when he disappeared.
Eva's hands trembled. You mean he was killed because... I didn't say he was killed. She froze. Alcott leaned forward, his tone low. We believe he's alive. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Alive. Possibly captured. Possibly hiding. We don't know. But we found traces of his code on recent transmissions from a remote outpost in the mountains. A place no one should be broadcasting from. Eva gripped the edge of her seat. Then why tell me this now? Because Alcott said, you're the only one who can get close enough to find him. The chopper tilted slightly as it turned east. Eva's mind was spinning faster than the rotors. Sir, I'm just a cadet, I'm not... He cut her off. You're his sister. You have his instincts, and we don't have time for red tape. The way he said it, urgent, deliberate, made her realize this wasn't an official mission. Alcott pulled a small black device from his pocket. This is a field transmitter-coded frequency. Use it only once. After that, burn it. Eva hesitated, then took it. The device was smooth and cold in her palm. He continued, you'll go undercover. We can't risk sending anyone in uniform. There's a transport truck leaving for the northern base tonight. You'll be on it. Once there, you'll receive further instructions. Eva's throat went dry. Why me, sir? Why not send a trained agent? Alcott's eyes flicked toward her sharply. Because someone in the command is leaking information. I can't trust anyone else. The words sent a chill crawling down her spine. The general looked out the window, voice low. Your brother trusted the wrong people. Don't make the same mistake. The helicopter began to descend near a remote hangar. Dust swirled again as it landed, the sun dipping lower behind the hills. Before stepping out, Alcott turned back to her. You have 48 hours. After that, the signal goes dark. Then he opened the door and climbed out, boots crunching against the gravel. Soldiers moved in silence around the landing pad, pretending not to stare. Eva followed him out, the weight of the mission pressing down on her chest. As she stepped onto solid ground, she realized the gravity of what she'd just been pulled into. One moment she was being kicked out of formation. The next she was being recruited into something that might get her killed. The helicopter lifted off behind her, blades thundering, as the general disappeared into the horizon. Eva turned toward the hangar, clutching the small transmitter. The wind had a strange stillness to it now, like the air before a storm. She knew this was bigger than her brother. But as the last echo of the helicopter faded, one thought filled her mind. If Ryan was alive, she'd find him. Even if it meant walking straight into the heart of betrayal. The transport truck rattled across the dirt road, its metal frame groaning with every turn. Eva sat in the back, squeezed between crates marked medical supplies, wearing a plain green jacket and a cap pulled low over her eyes. The driver didn't speak. He hadn't asked for her name. He'd simply nodded when she handed him the envelope General Alcott gave her, then motioned for her to climb in. The ride stretched on for hours, the mountains growing sharper and darker with each passing mile. Eva's mind replayed everything the general had said. If Ryan was alive, why hadn't he reached out? What did he find that made him vanish? And why did the general sound like he was hiding something too? At sunset, they reached the outpost, a cluster of metal huts and antennas clinging to the edge of a cliff. The air smelled like diesel and snow. A guard waved them in, barely glancing at Eva. She stepped out, stiff from the ride, and the truck rolled away without a word. Inside the command shack, a man in his 30s looked up from a map. "You're the new comms tech?" Eva nodded. "Yes, sir." He grunted. "Name's Harris. You're late. Equipment's down again. Try to make it work before nightfall." "Yes, sir." He left her alone with a humming bank of radios and wires. Eva exhaled slowly. The machines buzzed with static, but one channel had a faint rhythm beneath the noise. A pattern. Tap, pause, tap, tap. Her pulse jumped. It was a code. She recognized it instantly. Ryan's field signal. The one he'd taught her as kids, tapping messages through the wall between their rooms. Eva grabbed a notepad and scribbled down the sequence. It repeated twice, then went silent. Her fingers trembled. The last part spelled out one word, beacon. Beacon! What did it mean? Before she could think, Harris reappeared. "You hear something?" Eva shook her head quickly. "Just interference." He eyed her a moment too long before walking away. When the base went quiet that night, she slipped outside. The moon cast a pale glow over the snow-dusted ridges. She moved toward the edge of the cliff, pulled out the small transmitter Alcott had given her, and turned it on. A green light flickered once, then again syncing with the same rhythm from earlier. "Ryan?" she whispered. A voice crackled through, faint, distorted, but unmistakably his. "Eva, you shouldn't be here." Her knees went weak. "Ryan, where are you? I've been looking for you." "Listen, Alcott isn't who you think he is." Her heart froze. "What do you mean?" "He's the leak, Eva. He's been selling coordinates to mercenaries for months. He set us up. My team is gone because of him." The words hit her like a punch. "That can't be true. He said he was helping me find you." "He's using you," Ryan said, coughing through static. "He's trying to find me to erase what I know. You have to leave. Now." Before she could answer, footsteps crunched behind her. "Drop it," a voice ordered. Eva turned slowly. Harris stood there, rifle raised, his expression cold. "Didn't take you long to start snooping." He snatched the transmitter from her hand and smashed it against the rock. "You were supposed to lead us to him. Now the general's going to be very disappointed." The confirmation drained the last bit of doubt. Alcott had planned this. Every word, every gesture, all part of the trap. Eva lunged for Harris, knocking the gun aside as the shot went wide. They struggled, boots scraping on stone. He was stronger, but she was faster. With a desperate twist, she shoved him backward. His foot slipped on the icy edge, and he tumbled into the ravine with a fading scream. Eva stood trembling, staring into the dark below. She didn't have time to process what she'd done. She turned and ran. By dawn, she was miles from the outpost, cutting through frozen brush and rock. She found a cave to hide in, hands numb and lungs burning. She had nothing left. No gear, no signal, and no trust. But she had one clue. Beacon. She pulled the notepad from her pocket and looked again at Ryan's code. The numbers next to the word weren't random, they were coordinates. It took her another full day to reach the site. The path was steep and nearly invisible, leading to a canyon choked with fog. There, half buried under frost and vines, she found an old comms tower marked Project Beacon. The door hung open. Inside, the air smelled of rust and cold. A dim light flickered from a generator. She stepped deeper until she saw him, gaunt, bearded, but unmistakably Ryan. He turned at the sound of her voice. "Eva." She ran to him, tears stinging her eyes. "You're alive!" He hugged her tightly. "I told you to stay away." "I couldn't." He pulled back, eyes tired but burning with purpose. I've been gathering evidence. Files, transmissions, everything proving Alcott's betrayal. But he has people everywhere. If he finds this place, a low hum interrupted him. Outside, the wind was shifting. No, not wind. Rotor. Eva's stomach dropped. A helicopter was descending into the canyon. Ryan grabbed a metal case from the floor and shoved it into her hands. If he gets me, you keep this safe. There's a flash drive inside. Give it to the press, the Senate, anyone who'll listen. No, she said, voice breaking. We can both go. He shook his head. It's too late. The chopper landed, and soldiers poured out. General Alcott stepped down first, his uniform crisp, his expression calm, too calm. Eva, he called, voice echoing. Step away from him. She tightened her grip on the case. You lied to me. He smiled faintly. I told you part of the truth. Your brother was indeed alive. Unfortunately, he's also a traitor. Ryan shouted. He's the one who sold us out. Alcott sighed. You see what I'm dealing with? He gestured to his men. Take him. The soldiers advanced. Ryan raised a pistol he'd hidden behind his back and fired. 2 quick shots. 1 soldier fell. The rest opened fire. Ryan! Eva screamed. He pushed her toward the back exit as bullets tore through the air. Go! Now! Tears blurred her vision as she ran through the narrow tunnel, clutching the case to her chest. The gunfire echoed behind her. Then silence. When she emerged on the other side of the ridge, the helicopter was rising again, smoke trailing from the comms tower below. Her brother was gone. She collapsed to her knees, sobbing into the cold wind. Then she remembered his words, "Give it to the press." Eva wiped her face and looked down at the case. She couldn't fall apart now. Ryan had given his life to expose the truth. 3 weeks later, news channels across the country exploded with headlines. General Alcott under investigation for treason. Leaked recordings, encrypted documents, and eyewitness accounts, all tied back to the evidence Eva had released. The Pentagon denied it at first. But when video logs surfaced showing Alcott meeting with foreign operatives, the denials stopped. He was arrested, stripped of his title, and publicly disgraced. Eva stood at her brother's memorial months later, the sun setting behind the flag-draped field. She placed the case, now empty, beside his nameplate. I found you, she whispered, and I finished what you started. The wind blew softly through the rows of crosses. For the first time, Eva felt peace, not because she'd won, but because she'd kept her promise. Sometimes the bravest battles aren't fought in wars, but in silence between truth and lies, loyalty and betrayal. And sometimes the smallest step out of formation is exactly what changes everything.